So today we're going to be going over lateral lunges, which are a great way to work on our hip hinge and lateral hip stability. And so what you're going to do is you can choose whatever width feels comfy for you. I usually recommend like 1.5 to 2 times as wide as your shoulders. It's going to vary depending. You can point your toes forward. If you have a little bit more rotation in your hip, you can sort of point your toes at an angle. For me, that works best. And I find that it puts less pressure on my knee. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into that wide stance, and what you're going to do is you're going to sit your hip back, thinking about that hip hinge motion, and you're going to do it into one hip. So what that looks like from the front is I'm hinging at both, but I'm twisting into and pouring more weight into this leg while I keep this one straight. And what I'm really working on is squeezing this glute and not letting my knee collapse in. I'm not letting it bow out, but really keeping it kind of right over my ankle. And then I'm gonna push through that whole foot, squeezing through that glute to come back upright. So from the side, you can see that I really get this beautiful hip hinge. My knee comes forward just a touch, but I'm not twisting too far. And then I'm squeezing to come back into the middle. So it's this nice lateral hip loading, hip hinge, but we're shifting into one side. I try not to lock out this other knee because it can just be a little bit tweaky, but you don't want it to be bent either. You want to feel this nice stretch in the inner thigh and this good loading of the hip. And to make it harder, of course, the wider and the lower you go, the more of a challenge it is. And what you can do if those lateral lunges feel easy is you can then come down into a Cossack. So keeping that heel all the way on the ground, keeping this toe and these foot activated, and then you're gonna push again through, and then you're gonna shift to the other side. With the Cossack, I tend to point my toes more out to the side just because of my ankle dorsiflexion. If you keep them straight forward, it's a bit harder.